So let's start by working on our color selector. But before we do any logic inside of it, if you in Firefox, it will not work. It will give us this error. So since the native dialog is not supported in Firefox, we can use it like this. We can use a polyfill to use it. Sorry. So this one could be installed by running. So if you go to Google polyfill dialog, if you go to this one inside Chrome, inside GitHub, you'll see the npm install for it. This one. And we need first to register to import it like this, since we are using the modern import model modules. So I'll import it here. Then, as you can see, we need to register the element. So to do that, let's just change a little bit the code we have. So ng on, so on click here. Sorry, I'm just confused. So click, so I will call the function open model. So let's create it here, void and const dialog equal document.get element by id, the id we have here. So this will be a type of HTML element. Then dialog polyfill dot is it the register dialog? It's the dialog we have. Then we can call the show model. But this will give us an error. It does not exist on type HTML, since this is not, I think they did not add this to the type of this object, so we can just wrap it in an expression and type as any. This will solve everything. I'm not sure why did my linter did that. Did make it double quote. I'm not sure. Let me just go to the settings, preference, settings, open it as JSON, single quote. It is single. Anyway, just ignore it. So here we have this open model. Let's just remove this one click. Let's go back. Let's refresh it. Okay, it opens, but it's at the bottom. So if we go back to the documentation here, they recommend us to give these CSS attributes to the dialog to appear in the middle of the screen. So I will go to the color selector SAS and add it here. So this should, and then refresh it again. This should makes it work. No, cool, it works. So I will just continue the rest of the video in Firefox. To show you something interesting, let's just first start by identifying which one is responsible for the background and which one is responsible just for the shape color. To note that, I will pass an element called a value called SPG, and inside the color selector I will decorate it with the input decorator. It will be type of boolean. The input comes from the Angular core. Okay, so I'll save it also here inside the color selector HTML. If it's a PG, then display background, else display a color. inside the text of the button. And for the class, I want to have two different color for the classes. So I will bind ng class. So I'll remove the object that this extension fills it to me. So if it's a PG, then is warning, else is primary. So this should give us, yeah, two buttons, one for background, one for color. So what's something to note, that if you inspect the elements and in the console typed document.get element by ID, the ID we have dialog dark rounded, this will return us the dialog we want, but only the first one, because we have here two elements with the same dialog ID. So what does that mean? If we added here an if statement from Angular, we will display this text, the dark rounded dialog, this text, only if it's a background color. It's only if it's a background button. So let's see what happens. So now here it does not show, and also here, but here it should show here, because it's getting the first one. So there's two dialogues, and we are always selecting the first one, which in this case has a value of false, undefined, which is falsy for the SPG. So it's hiding this DOM. To give you more a solid proof, I will just comment this one. Now it will give us the dialog with this text exists, since we are passing through to this one, and there is only one dialog with this by ID, which one element in this ID, same thing. So now we have this. To solve this issue, I will just return it. We can use the UUID, which we installed, but import from UUID. So usually we'll import it like this. So star as UUID. This will import the whole library, which will increase the size of our application. To import the functions we use, we will need to install the types for the UUID. So add types /UUID. Then inside of here we will destruct the v4. I'll just finish until this is done. So now we can create something like this: read only id type string. So this .id equal v4. We'll invoke it then. So v4 comes from here. See, v4. And here we won't use this id. We will use this .id, and inside the color selector we will bind it here. Bind the id. So now we should see the exact same behavior we want. What element is null? Why? Yeah, maybe it does not, the browser does not refresh. So the first one we passed it to it SPG is undefined. We didn't pass SPG, so it's undefined. So this text is hidden, but for this one it shows, which means our approach is correct. So I think, I'm not sure how this video, how many minutes, but I think I will end it now. I'll continue next one.